When the appearance of rest led us to cut open our bulwarks, we quickly discovered that our issues were a lot larger than we had hoped. Realizing the scope of work we had to do was nothing short of heartbreaking. There's holes right through the deck, which was our worst case scenario essentially. That means that we've got a bunch more work ahead of us because we have to tear out a bunch of the interior in order to do the welding without lighting the boat on fire. And it's on this side, it's in the galley cabinetry as well as behind the settee. So that means that essentially we're tearing most of our boat apart. Interior, most of our boat apart, which means that we have probably 2 more months of work. At least. And a lot more time living on land. We bought Papa Rumba with the expectation that we had a boat that was ready to sail to remote places. And we were very naive with our expectations of how much time and effort would need to be put in order to properly fix the things that we thought may be wrong with her. Ripping apart the interior was going to be a huge job, but something that was necessary in order to get the welding done. And that's where we are now.
Up underneath here, like this is where our hull to deck joint is, back in here. And up underneath, it's all spray foam. It's open, so there's no wood over top of it.
Awesome.
So that's gonna make our job a bit faster. But you see these are full sheets of wood that come down, and I think what we're gonna end up doing is just cutting along them. I'll see how far. I think these go all the way down to the bilge, but these are all removable pieces as well. So I'll probably end up pulling these screws out.
I'm trying to take the wood out.
And cutting these bits wood along here. We can scrape out that fiber or the styrofoam, and then we can put that fire retardant blanket and tape it to the outside of the hull. And that way when we cut and weld through here, we won't catch anything on fire. But we're gonna need a dedicated fire watch.
Yep.
And then the galley is the other. And that has the ply in it still. So that'll have to get all cut up to come out.
Taking things apart was not nearly as simple as they appeared.
Well, I had to destroy the trim piece to get it off the top. It wasn't even screwed on, it's just glued.
Why'd you have to take that off?
To get this off. Because I can't work in here, just I can't reach. I can only go in one-handed, and that's kind of useless.
Yeah.
These pieces that I'm going to cut out of there have to come out somehow.
Right. Yeah, and those cubby holes are not big enough for that.
Yeah, and these are glued on. Like I've got all the screws out of them, and I have to cut the glue because I can't break it apart. So I'm having to get inside here like this, but I can't stick my head in and see at the same time.
We wanted to save as many pieces as possible during this process because neither of us are woodworkers and we have no desire to pay for new wood, so we took the slow road. Yay! Progress.
That is progress.
nice. Got it off in one piece, eh?
Yeah. But like to save days.
Yeah.
I mean,
so today I'm going to grind off that little bit of a lip that's left pretty much all the way along the deck. And he is tearing out more of the interior, so he's cutting back that wood that's on the hull, and then he's going to take all the spray foam out, and then we'll see how hard that is. But if he gets through that, then we might actually start cutting pieces of the deck out. So, right, Logan?
yes, that is right.
The job involved both grinding and power chiseling, as well as some needle gunning. I wasn't used to using my wrists in this manner and ended up with a pretty painful case of tendonitis after doing this for about a day and a half. So sorry for the sound below me. That's our air hammer. So I've gotten about just over a third of the bulwarks kind of ground down that ridge. And initially I was just taking the top bit off and then leaving about 1/8 of an inch because I was worried about the the spray foam underneath lighting on fire. But I don't think that's actually going to be an issue. So I've taken it right down to the deck now. Logan wants to show you his new friend.
We have a celebrity on board. His name's Mr. Bob.
Logan's been a little bit stir crazy having to cut out all that spray foam inside. So yeah, Logan has made us a new crewmate. You may recognize him from television. Oh man. Yeah, so while I've been out here doing this, Logan's been making new characters for our boat. No, in reality, he's been cutting out a bunch of spray foam and wood and searching for more holes in the deck.
We have 5 sizable holes.
It's 5 now.
Yeah. That you can stick your finger or 2 fingers through. This being the easy side.
It's going faster.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No. Alright folks, so we got something cool to show you. Can you see right there in the tree? There's an owl! And that robin is very close to it screaming. Hello, owl. Does not look very happy about me being here with the camera, but that robin is not very happy about it being here. Pretty freaking cool. Okay, time to go back to work. What's up?
Well, this wood here in the back runs all the way down, and it also runs in behind. These have plywood glued to them.
Yeah.
Like wood in between. I don't know how these are made up. I can't get them apart. But this is going to be very difficult.
You just cut along the bottom of that.
Like along the bottom of the cupboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, but then I can't hide it after.
It's fine.
And because, well, I guess we can caulk it in after. I don't really want to have like cupboards that we store our dishes and food in to be open to the spray foam.
Yeah, well, we can put a piece back in.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get one to fit in there. Like, obviously it's not super easy.
No, we can figure it out though. It's a hell of a lot easier than taking the whole cabinet apart, which is essentially the other option.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I can get these pieces out of here intact.
Well, if you can't, we'll figure out a different piece to put in later.
And then it's the same with the one up top. Like, they were all put in before the front went on. Like, these have all been pieced together. Because just to pull the front off, I'd have to destroy this trim piece, probably this panel, and maybe even the cabinet front.
Yeah, I think it would just be, I don't think it's worth it. I think if you gotta destroy those two back pieces, and maybe the top ones, it's not the end of the world. We can figure out something else to put in there later. That's going to be a hell of a lot easier than trying to build new cabinetry, which is probably what we're looking at otherwise.
Yeah. Not very excited about this.
Nope.
And this is how steel boats rot. All the black spots have no spray foam on them. Notice it's only in these areas where there's any rust staining. Suspicious. Well, I'm glad I was able to get in there. And this big guy right here is, that's about 1/4 inch. Yeah, maybe even bigger than 1/4 inch. And this is basically our chain plates. So these are what our chain plates are welded to. These great big gussets. So there's one here, there's one in there, and like this is for our shrouds, for our cap shrouds, which are the ones that are all the way at the top, and this runs all the way down, and yeah, you can't quite see out there, I don't think, but right below us there is the shrouds, or the chain plates, sorry, for the shrouds.
Well, I finished this side, so that's exciting. That last little bit obviously did not take very long. It took like less than an hour to do the last bit. So we spent all morning running around trying to find grinding discs, surprisingly hard in a small town, and found we got 2, and I only needed part of 1 to finish that up, so that's awesome. There's no more ridge, so that's all the way along except for back there where Logan is going to cut sections out of the deck. That's what it originally looked like. And then this is what it looks like the rest of the way. So that's freaking awesome. And yes, there's so much more room for activities. Look how far my foot can go now. My whole foot can actually fit along here. It's awesome.
There's a good section.
And that's shitty all the way back.
And this is all just questionable. I don't know. Like, it might make sense just to cut this hole from here to there out and replace it with a strip instead of like Around trying to fix little bits in between.
Yeah.
Because if it's got a, like if you're gonna do 2 patches and there's only 6 inches in between them, you might as well just cut that 6 inches out and keep going.
I guess, depending on how hard it is to cut this all out too.
And going parallel to the bulwarks is fine. Like that's really quite simple to do. It's cutting the pieces off this way that's going to be difficult.
Can you get a Sawzall blade that'll cut through the steel? Probably not, hey?
Well, you can get metal cutting blades, yeah, but problem is I don't own a Sawzall.
After going through all of this, we came to the conclusion that it was going to make more sense to just replace the entire chunk of deck that had been encased in the bulwarks. But we will get to more of that next week. We would very much appreciate if you could share our videos with your friends and continue to watch our videos and watch the ads so that we can make a little bit of money off of these so I can keep bringing them to you and
like and subscribe.
You know, we can get the boat done. Yeah, and like and subscribe. Which I know are like the corny things that everybody says, and I try really hard to not put a lot of that into our videos, but honestly it does make a big difference to us and it allows us to keep doing these boat projects at the rate that we're doing them at instead of having to go back to working full-time, because this is not cheap. As you can imagine, this was not a cheap boat to start off with, and now these are very big projects that do not come cheap, especially with how inflation is. So any help you can give us with your time, your money, your energy, we very much appreciate it, and thank you ahead of time, and thank you for all of you that have watched our videos and stuff up to this point. Yeah, it's time to go home. Thanks for watching, and an extra shout out to our patrons for giving us the extra boost every month and being a part of this project. We greatly appreciate every one of you.